Right, that's 12 o'clock. Let's crack on. Thanks for everyone that's here on Facebook and also Zoom. I will be monitoring chats on both. So hopefully, in fact, I'm going to move my... Oh, yeah. So today we have an interesting chap who we're going to interview, and his name is Habib Azam. Some of you may know him if you've been in the realistic trader community, and I guess most of you probably won't. So, who are you, Habib? Who are you, Habib, and why should people care?
Well, I don't think people should care, to be honest. But, so I'm Habib. I've been with RT for about 4 years now. I guess day to day, my background's in tech and health. It's like my main two things that I do day in, day out. But on top of that, I've been into forex, cryptos, investing, trading now for almost coming up to 5 years now. And obviously a lot of that is learned from you, and obviously joining the RT community, over 4 years ago now. So yeah, my journey's been quite an interesting one. I think I've had quite a steep learning curve, which I've kind of overcoming some barriers, and other barriers not so much really. Like, probably I know there's things I need to improve, but in other stuff like cryptos and investing, I have actually been quite successful.
Nice. And so, okay, so you started, what, 2015, 2016 with us? Was that...
Yeah, I think it was 2016.
2016, yeah. Okay. So, I guess, yeah, tell us a bit more about yourself. Like, so you started trading with us. Were you running your health business at the time? I can't remember.
I was just setting it up at the time as well. So I was kind of doing both. I'd just been... got my diploma in nutritional therapy after studying that for 3 years. So I was setting up my own nutritionist and health consultancy business. And then I was just looking at different forms of getting revenue streams. And then, yeah, obviously I came across one of your, I think it was a Facebook ad actually, first time when I saw one of your presentations. And then I think you retargeted me via email. So I watched a couple of emails and did the online calls for a couple of weeks, and I thought, yeah, this resonates with me. This seems pretty good. So, I mean, before that, I'd never traded or anything. So it was the first time I knew what trading was, because I'd worked previously at a investment bank, which kind of helped my finance knowledge a little bit. On the IT side of things, I was there for a few years at Barclays Capital in Canary Wharf, which was a happy and sad experience, you could say. So I kind of knew what finance was and how the markets kind of worked, but not properly. And then, yeah, so just doing your course and learning trading really helped kind of like gain my knowledge up and really learn about markets, how they work, in terms of trading, charting patterns, how to look for trades, how to, just generally read market news, and just the general landscape of, how kind of the world works, really. So okay. that was a real insight for me in terms of, just the amount of, closed network there is in, the top boys financing and how they do stuff, and how us, the retail, always kind of get clobbered, and how you can kind of protect your wealth from that was really, really good. Nice.
And okay, so you very quickly you're like a duck with water. Duck with water? Yeah, with cryptos. Tell us about how you got into cryptos and then what you did from there on.
Yeah, so crypto's actually was funny, Johnny. I was actually watching a show on Amazon Prime called Startup, which is about a cryptocurrency startup, and it's sort of loosely based. So that kind of intrigued my curiosity, I guess, into cryptos. Then I started Googling what is cryptocurrencies, and kind of knew about Bitcoin and Ethereum. They were like the only two that I already knew about, right, end of like 2016. So I invested a little bit just to play about with how you buy cryptos. Did it totally the wrong way. Lost all my cryptos because I didn't know what I was doing. I was kind of just guessing as I go along. It wasn't a huge amount I invested at that time. It was only a couple of £100. So then after that, I guess when I really started taking it seriously was doing my research, watching a lot of videos on YouTube. And then obviously at that time, I think the time was pretty good. You came out with your very first crypto course, which kind of helped, in terms of knowledge. And then from there, it just kind of resonated with me. I kind of understood tech, and it kind of was like a good mesh between tech and finance. So I did quite a lot of studying for cryptos, pretty much 4 to 5 hours every night for about a good solid 6 months. So I'd do my day job, I'd come home, I'd have some dinner, and then I'll just sit on the laptop from like 7 till 11, basically, and just sponging as much as I could about cryptocurrencies, how they work, who the main players are, reading loads of white papers, trying to understand the tech behind it. So yeah, that was quite a steep learning curve. But yeah, I think once you kind of get through the first couple of technical hurdles, it does get a bit easier. And
That's
yeah, so kind of just grew from there, really. Just my curiosity and knowledge in the subject.
Nice. And so, okay, we can go in a few different ways here. So tell us about your experience with crypto in 2017, because everyone has a completely different sort of journey. So what was it like for you?
It was
2017 and 2018.
Yeah, I'd say 2017, 2018 was bittersweet, I would say. Obviously, the rally in 2017 was crazy. Bear in mind, I've only been trading forex for about a year before that, and then obviously cryptos was like my second like big investment or trade, you could say, I'd rather made, and I'd actually put quite a bit of money in by then. So just waking up one day and seeing your portfolio quadruple in size was absolutely surreal. Something that's just I've never experienced before. So it was just you're fighting the demons. Do I sell? Do I hold? Is it going to go up more? So I think every trader and investor has those kind of battles of demons they fight within themselves of when to hold, when to sell, when not to sell.
Yeah.
So I just said to myself, I'm just going to leave it and see what happens. So luckily for me, what I'd done was I'd already taken out my initial investment. So even if it went to zero,
good,
I knew I wouldn't be hurt. And so I knew I was quite fortunate, whereas a lot of people wasn't, especially at the end of 2017, going into 2018. But it was quite surreal just waking up one day and your portfolio is worth 6 figures, and then literally 2 days later, your portfolio is like, less than 10K. It was crazy, like literally almost a 80% drop. And that's something I'd never experienced. So it does really humble you and gives you a really good reality check in terms of the world, and this isn't the norm.
So how did you personally deal with that loss? Because people deal with monetary losses in very different ways, and I love hearing horror stories.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, I think for me it was a loss, but it was a loss on paper. It wasn't anything which had materialized. So, and because I'd already taken out my original stake, I just left it. I thought, just wait and see what happens. And that was kind of my philosophy. Obviously, I suppose I would have been a bit different if I would have, just put my capital in right at the height of 2017 when Bitcoin was bobbling around 18, 19K. And then, you're 80% down on your initial capital. It's a kind of a different scenario to be in. So for me, it was, I'll just take the approach of just wait and see what happens. So that's kind of what I did. I just kept reading, ignoring all the noise about this all doom and gloom, Bitcoin's going to zero, all of that FUD that was around. So for about 6 to 8 months after that drop, I didn't actually invest in anything. I just kept what I had, and I was just reading and just kind of seeing what the market was doing. So I guess it was only after like mid to late 2018, I then started to actively invest in cryptos again after about 9 months of, I wouldn't even say reflection, just kind of waiting to see what the market would do.
Yeah.
Really.
It's crazy. Like, and that one of the things you said, which is what I've been saying for years, is that when playing with crypto, for most people, you only use risk capital, literally money you can actually afford to lose and mentally afford to lose. Because those two are slightly different. And so the fact that you took out your capital sort of, I guess, softened your blow. Because I think we both went through similar experiences. Because my crypto account went from, you remember I opened up a live account and I shared every single trade. So my $25,000 account grew to $1.1 million in, I think, a 4-month period. And I then watched it drop from 1.1 million down to 300K in like
it happened in like 3 days. It was done.
Yeah. And it is the reason I find thing is, a lot of people would have been like suicidal, or not suicidal, but like absolutely shell shocked and devastated. But for some reason, and I can't pinpoint it, I really wasn't that bothered. I know it hurt. Like for a week, I was a bit down in the dumps, but I wasn't like, oh, okay, it's the end of my financial career or whatever. It was just like, that's a nice learning point. But yeah, So did you change your way about cryptos? Like, how did you change the way you went into crypto from then on?
I was probably say I was less aggressive than I was in 2017, because 2017, as you know, I was trading all kinds of shit coins here and there, and as soon as they'd go up, I'd take profit, and then when they'd go back down, I'd buy back. And some coins, the momentum was very high, so it's quite easy just to, even buy and hold. And I think what really humbled me was just watching a lot of gurus online, and you could tell they've got no trading experience, no investing experience, and they were plugging cryptocurrencies, and I was kind of just like, yeah, this is definitely a bubble that's going to pop. It's just like, for me, that was kind of a red flag. Like, everyone all of a sudden was an expert in cryptocurrencies.
Yep.
And yeah, that was kind of getting dangerous. We're kind of seeing that now at the moment as well.
Yeah.
Especially on like new social platforms. Like, I mean, whenever I go on platforms like TikTok, everyone is just flogging cryptos and buy this coin and buy that coin, and it's just like, nah. So I did that in 2017, but I've kind of grown out of that phase now. So in 2018, I kind of took an approach of, let's just stick with the blue chip cryptos for now, not the alts, just because when the markets were going up and down, alts were just bleeding more and more than your classic Bitcoin and Ethereum and coins like Cardano. So I kind of stuck to those and was just actively investing in those every month. And that's kind of what I've been doing since 2018. I've just been buying Bitcoin and ETH every month without fail.
Nice. Yeah, so you're well in the money at the moment then.
Well, yeah, I mean, I did some calculations, and I think I posted in the RT group as well. Even between 2018 and the end of 20 and halfway through 2019, so that 18-month period, even if you bought Bitcoin at the all-time high, and you were really unlucky on every major rise in that
Facebook stream,
then it dumped, you would still be in profit overall by the end of that year.
Yeah.
So I was in profit even before this bull run started, this new bull run we've had from about 3-4 months ago.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Whenever you're moving into a moving mountain, so to speak, so whenever you identify an industry, sector, or whatever which has extremely high potential, even if you were to buy every single month and you're the worst timer ever, and every month that you pound cost average in, you bought at the highest peak, over time you'll always end up in profit, so long as you're buying into an industry that's going to boom, which is like you said, like you still end up in profit even though you're buying throughout 2018. So,
yeah, which is why I was more bullish on the blue chips like Bitcoin and Ethereum and Cardano rather than other coins, other shit coins like Tron and those kind of coins, because you can tell there with Tron, and how many did we trade in 2017? It was like over 100. So the list goes on of cannabis coin and what else ones we were doing. So
yeah. And so during all of this, you said in your Facebook post that you got into other businesses. Like, tell us about your business life, and we'll circle back to
I guess my investing and trading has been quite successful over the last 3 or 4 years. I guess where I've failed spectacularly has been my business side of things, and again, that's totally my fault. I didn't give it the amount of effort and energy that I should have, so it's no one's fault apart from mine. But I guess obviously my nutritional business is still ongoing, so I would say that's a failure, but for me that's turned more into a hobby rather than a business. It's something I do as and when I just see some clients here and there which I've got regularly, and I just advise them on how to live an active and healthy lifestyle. So I wouldn't really say that's a business. That's more of a personal hobby, something I enjoy doing in my own time. Especially this last year with COVID, it's been quite interesting how people have reacted to COVID and taking care of their health. And it seems to be two extremes, no happy middle. But I suppose we can get into that. But my other two that failed spectacularly, I guess, was the first one I set was my Amazon business up. So I was selling fitness equipment on Amazon. So I was selling things like running belts, sports bottles, meal prep boxes, like those massage sponge balls. So basically sports equipment. And for a while it was doing quite well. I was in profit, probably I'd say within about 6 months of setting up Amazon FBA I did, which is fulfilled by Amazon. So that's basically where you get loads of stock from China, you give them designs on how to package your products, so you basically set up a brand, if you could call it, if you can have a brand on Amazon. And then you ship that directly from China to Amazon here in the UK. And then people go log on to Amazon, they buy your product, Amazon ship it straight from their warehouse to you. the buyer, so you don't ever see the stock or deal with any shipping, any handling, any of that. Seemed very good. Seemed, quite an easy business model to do. You don't have to worry about anything. You can do it from anywhere in the world. You don't have to be locked down in one location to do it. And I know some people that do it, and they travel around and stuff. But I guess the market kind of evolved with Amazon, and now a lot of people are getting undercut by the same people they're buying from in China. And that's kind of been the problem with Amazon. There's so many people, it's just become really saturated. So, yeah. And one thing you don't realize with Amazon is, unless you market your product on Amazon, you're not going to get any clicks or views initially, because you need to build up your... And one thing which really sucks with Amazon, if you're a seller, you could have the most amazing product. You could have 5-star reviews. You get one negative review, and Amazon will just drop you like that.
Really?
So you get one complaint, Amazon will hold your inventory and not sell it until you can prove that that complaint was false. So, I learned quite a lot in those 18 months I was running it. Yeah, Amazon are brutal when it comes to sellers. They're very customer focused.
What's stopping your competitors just leaving a bad review?
That's what happens all the time. Literally, I had loads of people who were selling products the same price as me, but you get around a review saying, I bought this package and the packaging was really bad. The box exploded. That kind of just bullshit, basically. But until you then prove to Amazon your package is safe and friendly, and you have to jump through all kinds of legal loopholes. You have to go to your manufacturers in China. You have to provide certificates of authenticity and provide things actually packaged in a box how they were. Oh, it's a nightmare. It's Amazon is brutal. It's like being in the deep blue sea and the biggest shark wins, basically.
Yeah. I've got a few other friends who are running sort of 6-7-figure Amazon businesses, and they're all gone bust now. And even if you had a product which is really good, either Amazon would do Amazon choices and then basically take all of your market share, or someone in China would just simply copy and paste your whole shop and then just undercut you in price.
Because they can do that, because obviously they've got the factories, they can mass produce, they can save the shipping. So I guess for me, it got to about 18 months into it, and it just wasn't profitable. The amount of money I was making on profit, I was spending on ad spend on Amazon. So it's kind of just breaking even, or just going under slightly breaking even. So I kind of just let my stock run out, and then I just didn't renew. I kind of just left it. And then I still got my Amazon account, but I just haven't done anything with it. So I just kept it just in case, because it does take a while to get verified with Amazon. So once you're verified as a seller, it's just worth just keeping your account. It costs like 30 quid a year to keep it open. So what is your life like now? So what are you doing work-wise right now, and what are you investing in at the moment? So work-wise right now, I'm actually consulting for a startup. So I've been there since January.
Nice.
So it's to do with a football product. I can't really say what it is, but they've had quite a lot of investment from people in the football industry.
Sweet.
We're looking to bring this product live to the market this summer, hopefully, around when the Euros go live. And it's going to be quite disruptive. I'm not seeing anything like this in the market at the moment. It's going to be an app. So at the moment, it's a small team. It's only about 15 people in the whole company. But some really smart people that work with machine learning and AI and that kind of cool stuff we've got on board. People that work for Google DeepMind and that kind of stuff. So
is there a
really
crypto element to this startup?
Not yet. But long term, who knows? Maybe we could tokenize something. But for the moment, it's just going to be a go-to-market product with a monthly subscription.
Okay.
So that's kind of what I do day to day. Obviously, apart from crypto, keeps me busy. And then I just do some freelance consultation with companies here and there as they need it as well.
Okay. And how are you attacking the crypto market now then?
So at the moment, I am still actively investing every month. I'm still buying Bitcoin and Ethereum every month. But with this bull run, I've been a bit more aggressive with my alts. So, but again, I've still played it relatively safe. I'm not really gone into any shit coins yet. I'm kind of into coins a bit more like Cardano, BNB, Neo, Gas, Ontology. So those kind of coins. Next, I'm still in as well. So they're the ones I'm kind of aggressively trading. And then my Bitcoin and ETH, I'm just still buying and holding.
Okay.
So that's kind of been my strategy since this bull run has started a few months ago.
Nice. And do you have an exit plan, when are you going to exit, or are you not going to exit?
So I'm not going to exit Bitcoin and Ethereum. I'm just going to continue to buy those and hold them. So every month I just buy them and I'll just put them into my ledger. Job done. My alts, I'm going to be aggressively trading and taking profits along the way. Obviously, this bull cycle, you know, if we stick to technical analysis and all the projection models, looks like it's going to run at least for the next 6 months. So yeah, I'm just taking profit along the way, basically, is what I'm doing.
Nice. Okay. By the way, for those on Facebook and on Zoom, if you have any questions for Habib, please just pop them in and then I'll read them out. Mike has said, when I was doing Amazon, people would buy toys with batteries or Nerf bullets, etc. included, take the batteries and return it for a refund. All that just to get free batteries or Nerf refills. Absolute scum. In my opinion.
That happens. I mean, luckily I didn't have a product which was mechanical or anything electronic. I just didn't want to deal with the hassle of any of that because there's different licenses and different certifications you need to sell those on Amazon. So I kind of stuck to products where you would need that. So it's just everyday things, I guess. But then again, yeah, it's quite hard to scale on Amazon now, I guess, unless you are a really big manufacturer or you're a brand.
Yeah.
It's quite hard to sell on Amazon and get that native traffic, that first party traffic.
Okay. And so with your trading and I guess crypto career so far, what have been your biggest hiccups and learning points as a derivative of that?
I'd say for me, trading wise, it's not to force trades. It took me a while to learn that, like how you. When I first started, I was just like, I have to be in the market all the time. Oh no, if all my trades are closed, I would start panicking, going, oh my god, I don't have any trades open. I'm not going to be making any profit. And it took me a while to realise that, you know, you don't have to be in the market all the time. You know, sometimes it's healthy just to step back and just have a break and just let the market do its thing for a while, and then go back into the market when you feel like the conditions are more in your favour. So I guess that's kind of like a newbie error I made. Well, I was trying to force trades when there weren't trades there, and see trades when, well, you know, like saying, oh, this could be a head and shoulders, rather than it actually being a head and shoulders when it was playing out, those kind of scenarios. So that's something that, you know, you kind of learn the hard way after having lots of losing trades in a row. And you kind of have to have a word with yourself and say, this isn't working. You know, your strategy either isn't working or your hit rate isn't working. So, and luckily, one thing, I'm quite good at admin stuff, so I quite enjoy doing the login side of trading, logging all my trades and making sure, you know, I've got as much detail as possible. I've kind of learned that from the start from you and Kevin and Martin and, you know, all the other mentors in RT. So, you know, it was quite good to just go back and reflect on that data, see the charts, and then obviously hindsight's a wonderful tool to go and see where you made the mistakes and then learn from them, really.
Nice. And so Anita has said, when you take profit along the way, are you taking out in fiat or selling to Bitcoin/Ether?
So I'm taking them out for my alts. I'm taking them out in fiat. Obviously, I'm based in the UK, so I've got a CGT allowance of £12,300. So that's the amount I will take out, and then after that, I'll kind of decide, unless it's a real peachy trade with a real profit margin where it's worth me taking it and then taking a 20% tax hit on it, I may just hold on. But obviously, the new tax year starts in 5 days' time. I've kind of been strategic with my tax the last couple of years, where because I've just been buying and holding and I've been carrying over losses, this tax year I've got about 28 grand I can take out before I actually have to pay any tax. So I'm in quite a champagne position. So when my next matures in September, I'll definitely be cashing all of that out, and that will be over about 25 grand worth of tax-free fiat I can take out. And then, yeah, I'll decide what to do with that once I've got that problem in the bank.
Fair enough. And Anita also asked, given the arrival of institutional investors, do you believe there will be another large dip in Bitcoin, e.g. down to 32k on this bull run?
Absolutely. I think, you know, even if you zoom out and look at the monthly chart, we've kind of had green candles pretty much for the last 4 months solidly. There's not been many red candles. So the way Bitcoin works is it always humbles people, you know. And so it's kind of like, it's the biggest euphoria, but it's also the biggest reality check you can get. So I think it will. But again, I'm still just going to continue, just because from my own experience and my own research that I've done on Bitcoin particularly, I just can't see long term how Bitcoin can't hit stick figures. Obviously, with the halving every 4 years, a lot of Bitcoin now being eaten up, nearly 4 million Bitcoin being lost. There's not a lot out there at the moment. So I think that's just going to get more and more scarce. And it's, you know, for me, it's a massive hedge against, you know, money just being printed willy-nilly. So, you know, I'm very bullish on Bitcoin over the next decade.
So how would you see? This is interesting. So obviously everyone has an opinion. So Bitcoin Jesus, Michael Saylor, he was asked this same question. I call him Bitcoin Jesus because he pretty much is. So he was asked a similar question of, you know, does he expect a big crash like we normally do? And he was like, no, not at all. And you're saying that, you know, there's massive ways of institutional money coming in, and, you know, like what do you say about, I guess, his stance that, you know, there's too much of a flaw now, there's too much of a strong support with the amount of capital coming in? Do you think that would then negate the big 50% corrections that we normally get?
Potentially, yes. I just think the way Bitcoin's always worked, obviously I'm basing it on my research of what it's done in the past. Obviously, I know we're kind of in a new world now with more institutions buying Bitcoin. Like I said, Bitcoin Jesus pretty much buying an insane amount of Bitcoin every month.
Yeah.
And obviously a lot more publicity, you know, with Elon and Tesla and Bitcoin, and, you know, 𝗵𝗂𝗶𝘀 and all those guys really heavily investing into not just Bitcoin but crypto products as well, other products, lending platforms, those kind of things. So I think there is more exposure, but I just the way cryptos works, it may not be a crash, but I think we will definitely see a major sell-off at some point, which we haven't seen yet. So just from my own research, nothing goes up in a straight line, nothing goes down in a straight line. You always have to and fro. So just I mean, if we don't, great. You know, I was wrong, but that's something I'd happily be wrong on. Bitcoin continue moving. But if we do pull back, I'll just buy some more and just continue to buy it. Because I just think long term, I just think it's almost like a bank now where it's too big to fail. Is the way I see it.
Okay, yeah. So it's melting up, if anything. Yeah. So and
exactly, yeah.
Are there any crypto models in particular that you're following? Because I mean, there's loads of different like crypto models out there.
There's loads. Yeah. I mean, the stock to flow model is the one I've been reading on quite a lot. That's the one I've kind of been following. Obviously, that's kind of saying you should see Bitcoin, you know, around 100K within the next 9 to 12 months, roughly. That's the kind of one I've got my eye on. That's the kind of one I look at the charts when I zoom out and just look at Bitcoin and the cycle it's doing. But apart from that, I kind of, with me, Bitcoin I see more as a long-term investment. So I don't really look at the charts every day. I don't like follow it religiously every time it goes up and down. I see Bitcoin as like a major 10-year play for me. So unless we see like a really big move where I wake up one day and it's gone from 60K to 100K, then I will obviously take some profit, because it'd be foolish not to. But unless it does that and it's just going up gradually, I'll just continue to just invest gradually. And I don't think I'll stop investing in Bitcoin, probably at least for the next decade. I don't think. I see that as my retirement pot.
Yeah. Okay. So
I have a SIP, but I don't really have an ISA or any of that. I've got quite a lot of invested in gold and silver about 4 or 5 years ago. But for me, Bitcoin is my retirement pot the way I see it. So obviously it's a massive hedge. It could play off, it could not, but let's just see what happens.
Nice. So if magic one time, let's say you suddenly got 500 grand in cash in your bank account right now, what would you do with it? How would you deploy it, allocate it, etc.?
Yeah, so I'll probably put half of that into cryptos.
Okay.
So I'll probably say half of that into cryptos, and then in the other half, I'd probably set up a business. I think from the lessons I've learned and stuff, I'm actually looking to set up a business this summer when I've got some stuff out of the way. Maybe like August, September later this year, I'm looking to set up another business or a project, I have to say, from now, in the health space, to do with like supplements and nutritional products. And so that's kind of what I'm looking to do. So obviously if I did have that capital behind me, that would just help my growth and accelerate that a bit more. And then I may just take some punts as well. So like 250 I would put into cryptos, mainly Bitcoin and Ethereum, and maybe some Cardano, and just leave it long term. Some of that I'll put into a business, and some of that I will just maybe invest in other businesses as well, or startups, which I think are doing quite well, or people that are in incubators that are just doing proof of concept work, just to see something that could materialise, a lot of Series A funding. I'll just do that and just see what happens, and then once COVID blows over, go on a nice holiday.
Yeah. And are you doing anything in the DeFi space at the moment?
So DeFi stuff, I've played around with it. I did actually quite early on get into Yearn Finance, which played out very nicely. That was like my first DeFi dip in the water. I did, it was like January, February this year. And that just went ballistic in the space of about 2 months. And then I did exit that. So I did quite well out of 𝗁𝗏. A couple of weeks ago, I was playing around with Binance's own DeFi ecosystem, so using PancakeSwap and the BNB ecosystem and their own version of that. So that was pretty fun. Again, I was just playing around. I haven't really invested in any coins, but obviously they're a lot cheaper. And I've just been playing around with NFTs and how that works. And again, I'm not really an art person, so I won't really invest in things I don't really understand. So I still find it baffling that people are paying millions of dollars for artwork on Ethereum's blockchain. That just seems surreal to me.
I know. What was it? Someone paid $69 million for a piece, like a cartoon NFT.
Yeah.
I just don't understand it. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that's where art is going, right? If it's going to be digitized and on the blockchain, but just that amount of crazy money just seems a bit surreal at the moment. It seems very 2017 coming into a new product, very bubbly.
Yeah. Do you see DeFi being a bit bubbly or not?
I think some DeFi products are bubbly. DeFi, I think, is the new ICO at the moment. You can easily just spin up a DeFi project on Ethereum or on Binance. Very little. You could probably do it with like 1 or 2 devs. And it's almost like an ICO hunt where it's just like, hey, here's going to be the brand new, DeFi platform. It's going to be amazing, this and that. And whereas really, it's probably not going to do anything.
Yeah.
I see a lot of that in the DeFi space at the moment, which was kind of, I'll call DeFi the new ICOs.
Yeah.
That's kind of where we are, I think. So I think there will be some good products, but I think most of them will just be like ICOs where they're just going to die and go away long term.
Nice. So 𝗵𝗶𝗀𝗃 has said, what will the price of Bitcoin be next year? Lol, joke. He says, what signs will you be looking for the beginning of the end of the bull cycle? Yeah, good question.
Oh, really good question. So I would say once we get to a point of obviously the price first, if we do see Bitcoin at 6 figures, my spider senses will start tingling, because I think for them will be kind of at the near top. I think especially in this cycle that we're in, rather than the following one, I think we definitely will be 6 figures comfortably. But for now, I think that would kind of be an indicator to me. And also when I see alts really taking a lot of market cap out of Bitcoin, that for me is also an indicator.
Yeah.
At the moment, they haven't really. I mean, they have a little bit, but not compared to 2017. Bitcoin's share of the market was like 55%. At the moment, it's hovering around 70 still at the moment. So I think it's got a way to go yet.
Yeah, Bitcoin's 57.8% market share, and Ether is 12%.
Yeah, so ETH obviously is looking, I think ETH's the one that's going to do better out of most coins, I think ETH still hasn't, especially once they actively start moving to ETH2. I know at the moment they're not, and they're kind of, it's all just lip service and it's constantly delayed. But I think once ETH does move to proof of stake, I think it's going to do what Cardano did. It's just going to go from like, you see Cardano pretty much 10x in 2 months once it fully went to proof of stake. So I wouldn't be surprised if, in the next 6 to 12 months, we see 5 to 10k ETH. That would not surprise me at all.
Yeah.
Then I definitely will sell some if that happens.
Yeah. And do you think there'll be the flippening where Ether becomes a bigger market share than Bitcoin?
Ooh. Probably not. I think Bitcoin for the moment, at least, I say for the next few years, I just think there's too many eyes just on Bitcoin at the moment. So I think long term, maybe, but for now, I think Bitcoin seems to be the one that everyone wants.
Cool.
Obviously, with ETH, and they've said they're going to start reducing the supply. That probably could help them as well.
Yep.
If they're going to do what Binance did and start doing token burns, that will help them. But for the moment, I just can't see Bitcoin losing that #1 spot for a while.
Okay, cool. Rob also asked, I'm wanting to invest in altcoins aggressively. Do you do anything different to Siam when researching?
I guess for me, when I research alts, I tend to look at obviously their market cap, read their white paper. If they've got a white paper, most of them do, some of them don't. Again, it depends what kind of altcoin. If you're looking at like sensible projects which are actually trying to solve a problem, or if they're just going to be shit coins. Like I was looking at a coin yesterday, and I shit you not, it's called 𝗵𝗶𝗶𝗀. It's not something I'll invest in, but it was a proper pump and dump. It went from like $0 to $24 in a week, and now it's hovering around $2. So it's kind of had its move, and so that's something I wouldn't invest in. But if it was a good project that's got active people, I look for people rather than coins and what they're doing. So
yeah,
I look for projects where you've got faces that you can see. You can look them up on LinkedIn. You can see what they've done in the past, or they've got active, viable businesses that are backing them. They're the main two things I look for when I'm researching, rather than just a white paper, white papers don't mean anything these days. They're just empty promises.
Yeah, I completely agree. And anyone can whip up a white paper in a weekend, basically. And what I found, because I've read a lot of white papers, and I swear most of the time people have just done massive copy and paste and then just changed bits.
Yeah.
Like the structure is the same on most of them. So yeah.
Yeah, it's always an intro, what the tokenomics are, who the team is, why they're so great, and why you should invest in them. It's always those 5 things.
Yeah. Exactly. So James said, "Hi Habib and Siam. Any thoughts on INJ? I've never heard of INJ. I'll just have a little Google."
I've never heard of that either.
So what is that? Let's INJ. Sorry, I'm just trying to find it. So there's 9. So according to CoinMarketCap, there are 9,100 cryptos. I mean, bloody hell, that's jumped up 100, and I only checked that like the other day. And so you're just never gonna know like what every coin is. And this is what I call being a crypto dog. Like, there's a saying, dogs always like chase cars down the street, but then when the car stops, it's like, what does it do? It just carries on barking. And I personally find a lot of people are being crypto dogs. They're spending far too much time trying to get the next, Bitcoin or the next Ethereum, etc. When they can be doing something more productive. And that's why I'm a massive fan of the Kryptonian portfolio. Like, it's set and forget pretty much, and then you just tweak it. So I've just had a look. It's called Injective Protocol. I've no idea. So first of all, I'm just going to share my screen just so I can see. Hopefully you can see what I'm seeing. So INJ, Injective Protocol. Okay, so the first thing I pretty much look at is the max supply. So it's 100 million. So in terms of crypto max supply, that's a pretty low max supply. So it has the the potential to get a high dollar price, so to speak. The circulating supply is that. So one thing I'd have to look at the white paper, which you can find if you go to their website, is the distribution. Like, are they distribute? Like, when are they releasing the their tokens? Are they mined? Are they minted? What is it? Proof of stake? Proof of work? Is it proof of? In fact, there's loads of different proofs these days. Market cap's good. 218 million. What's the 24-hour? 43. Yeah, so it's liquid. If you then look at the markets, what is it? It's on Binance. That's good. Yeah, so you can get in and out. There's definitely enough volume there. But I've no. Yeah, I'd have to look at this a lot more. But I mean, what are your thoughts? Access limitless DeFi markets with 0 barriers. Cool.
Yeah, it looks like it's an 𝗏 token. Just from looking at the website, it had an 𝗏 contract address on there. So again, it's built on top of 𝗏 at the moment. 𝗏𝑐 contract. That's something that I look for as well. It looks like again it's just a DeFi gateway coin. So basically, you can another way to get into DeFi. But again, until you read the white paper or you see what the models are. 0 gas fees. Interesting how they do that on 𝗏.
Interesting.
Because if they're on 𝗏, I wonder how they get around 0 gas fees. That'll be interesting to see.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. I mean, by the way, there's going to be loads of projects that look promising just by glancing through the website. I mean, it does add a bit of nice, warm, fuzzy feeling with that. 𝗵𝗃𝗃 is there, Binance, Binance, so to speak. But Yeah, 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗃 is doing some big moves in the crypto space. They're investing in a lot of different projects, 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗃. I think they're more... Yeah, I don't know how many projects they've got, but they've got their hands in quite a few. So, okay, so I'm getting a few suggestions on what are your suggestions on this coin, this coin. Like, I don't want to go into, you know, a full on, you know, just checking out random coins. As I said, I don't want to be a crypto dog. So, right. Any other question? Okay, checking the Facebook one. So 𝗵𝑒 has said, what happens if Bitcoin is all in circulation? Would you not be restricted to buy goods, as goods are in abundance? Maybe that one of the reasons why money gets printed. I don't know if I'm articulating this correctly. Could you reword that, 𝗵𝑒? I'm not sure. I don't understand the question. Do you, Habib?
No, not really. I'm not sure what the question is there.
What happens if Bitcoin is all in circulation? I'm not sure what you mean by that bit there. Would you not be restricted to buy goods? I'm not sure. I mean, governments will, you know, shout and go, yeah, we're going to try and ban Bitcoin, etc. But you can't ban Bitcoin. It's like you can't ban the internet. Yeah, it's out there. So,
if you do look at the countries that have tried to ban it, they've just failed spectacularly.
Yeah,
like, spectacularly failed.
India, every bull market, we're going to ban Bitcoin. And then...
Yeah, exactly. Every bull market, you're guaranteed they'll do that. And then after a while, they say, actually, no, you can buy
it. Yeah. So iPhone has asked, if holding Bitcoin and Ether for the long term, would you consider BlockFi for monthly interest payments?
Yeah, I like BlockFi. I posted something in the article last night. They've just had a massive Series D funding. And I looked on their website. They are hiring so many engineers. It is ridiculous at the moment.
Yeah.
They're literally all over the world, across Europe, across Asia, and across the US. So I think BlockFi, give it a few years, are going to be probably one of the gateway platforms to get into cryptos for. I am going to be going into BlockFi and locking up my Bitcoin and ETH, probably for 12 months. I'm not going to do it yet. I just want to see what happens once this cycle comes to an end.
Yeah.
And see how the market reacts to that cycle, and then I'll do it. I just don't want to be locked in when the market kind of tanks for the moment. And one thing I have registered for on BlockFi is their credit card.
Yeah.
So for every transaction you do, they'll pay you in Bitcoin. So that's something I'm looking forward to receiving.
Yeah. Definitely, especially if you have businesses as well. If you can get like a Bitcoin rewards card and you just get one for each business. Like I think if I was like with my groups, I've probably, you know, with the ones where I control the bank accounts, I guess there's at least, you know, a couple $100 grand a month in outgoings that we're spending. So if I can spend it all on, you know, the BlockFi card, that would be pretty handy. So
yeah.
Mind you, I can't do wages. Wages is a big percentage of that. So, but yeah. So James has said, can you see anything wrong with taking advantage of BlockFi 9.3% interest on Tether?
Oh, Tether. How long have we got? I'm not a fan of Tether, although it's probably still the go-to stablecoin that a lot of people use. I just think Tether to me is just like what the Fed are doing. They're just plucking willy numbers out of their arse and say this is how much circulating supply we have. Tether is a bubble that's going to pop at some point, and I think when that does happen, you will see the market react negatively and it will tank based on Tether, because Tether actually does buy a lot of Bitcoin themselves, or Bitfinex rather does, who's like Tether's kind of parent holding company. So yeah, I would not be locking up any Tether if it was me personally. I just think that's way too risky.
Yeah, and yeah. So in fact, this is probably a good point. I've seen some people online saying that they're putting lots of money into stablecoins and then they're just not doing anything with it. And I'm like, whoa. Like, a stablecoin is there to typically mimic the dollar, okay, or just to be a flat, you know, price range. And so on the chart, if you looked at a stablecoin, it should be, you know, if it say it's linked to, you know, pegged to $1, it should stay around $1. So there's no point just putting your money in a stablecoin and then doing nothing with it. The reason stablecoins exist is so when you're doing side steps, so if you're getting into crypto and then quickly jumping out but you don't want to go back to fiat, you can stay in a stablecoin to then, you know, quickly go back into cryptos. I guess if you're going to buy a big chunk of stablecoin, you then need to somewhat, stake it of some sort, or like there's all sorts of platforms where you can buy, USDC, that's the Coinbase one, and then receive, 12% interest on it. So personally, I would only put money in a big stablecoin like that if I was getting, 10-15% from it. But don't get into a stablecoin thinking it's going to moon. I think, yeah, sorry.
It's called stable for a reason.
Yeah. So James has said, I don't think I understand stablecoins. I'll need to look into it. I thought it would be safer to buy into it than take advantage of the interest. Yeah, so if you're going to, hold it and then get interest, then go for it. I think when I wrote the crypto book, it's over there, I said when Facebook, so this was back in 2017, I said it's highly likely that Facebook are going to launch their own crypto, and when they do, I'm going all in, etc. But obviously times have changed, and it turns out that Libra is a stable coin, so I freaking won't be buying it. So yeah, because it's not going to moon. But have you? What's happened with Libra? I think they keep getting hammered. Last time I checked.
Yeah, I think Zuckerberg's not got many friends in that space, has he? So I think he's not flavour of the month, or hasn't he, for a while. So I think, from what I've seen, yeah, it's looking like Facebook and even Amazon may even get broken up. I think a lot of people want them to break, especially Facebook with WhatsApp and the whole privacy thing they've had with that recently. A lot of people leaving them to move to Signal, and then with like Instagram becoming really big, I think they'd look. Facebook's probably. I think there's a good chance in the next probably 5 years, Facebook may be forced to get broken up because they're getting too big, and
do you think?
It's worrying a lot of people. So I think that's probably going to be his main priority at the moment, rather than crypto, which he doesn't have time for. I think he'll be busy with lawsuits, I think, Mr. Zuckerberg, over the next few years.
Okay. Yeah, we'll just have to keep an eye out on it. Jamie's asked.
Yeah, we haven't really done a lot recently. It's not really made the news or anything, unless they're just quietly just doing something in the background that they haven't announced, which they probably are. But yeah, it's not really been in the limelight for a while.
Fair. Jamie's asked, what would say to look for safety when using crypto to take a cash loan as collateral? Sorry if it's been asked already. Joined late. Sorry. What would say to look for? What would you? Okay, so what would you say to look for safety when using crypto to take a cash loan as collateral?
So I think he's asking if you give Bitcoin and get a cash loan from it or something. I guess is his question.
Like safety of platforms. Sorry. Okay. Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
So what would you look for? Personally, I'd look for a nice big established platform like 𝗵𝑒 or something.
Yeah, like 𝗵𝑒 or 𝗵𝑜𝑟𝑒. I wouldn't go to like a startup DeFi for any of that. You want something that's got someone where obviously they've got the collateral to pay you what you want to start with, and secondly, it's something that's going to be a bit more secure and that's got quite a tight smart contract. Yes, I would definitely not be going to any low volume coins. Yeah, I'd say for me, I'd probably look at 𝗵𝑜𝑟𝑒 if it was me. Probably they provide a good service. They've got quite strong backing behind them, and they're not a shit coin. Well, they don't even have a coin. They're just a service for buying, selling, or borrowing the cryptos. Really, it's what they do. That's kind of their business model. Yeah. There's no BlockFi token. They're not, asking you to buy anything on their platform that's specifically for them. So I think it's quite a good business model they've got, and I think you'll probably see more and more companies kind of mimicking that. I think PayPal may do that. At the moment, PayPal with its Bitcoin and ETH integration, would not be surprised with because you can use PayPal to traditional PayPal to take a fiat loan out and then pay back PayPal every month. I can't see why they couldn't do that with cryptos going forward.
Yeah. So going back to that 𝗵𝑒 question, so she said, what happens if Bitcoin is all in circulation? Would you not be restricted to buy goods, etc.? And then she's clarified. She said that there's a limit on how much Bitcoin will be mined. I wouldn't worry about the circulation. So the last Bitcoin will be minted in the year 2140. So we've got like 90% of all Bitcoin in circulation right now, and that distribution curve is flat pretty much now, up until 2140. So most of Bitcoin that will be circulating is circulating right now. So it wouldn't. I think Bitcoin's original use is never going to be its main use. So it's supposed to be, you know, a global digital currency that people use, but no one's ever going to use Bitcoin to buy, you know, your groceries and stuff like that. I'm quite confident that Bitcoin will just remain like a crypto gold, you know, where you harbor your wealth in it, but then you'll use something else to buy your groceries with, or, you know, through a credit card like BlockFi or something like that. I mean, what are your thoughts, Habib?
Yeah, I agree. I see, like I said, I see Bitcoin as digital gold. I don't think, like, for me, I'd be like, I don't want to spend my Bitcoin. I want to save it as much as I can of it.
Yeah.
So, you know, like other coins, I wouldn't mind spending, like eth or Litecoin, or I don't know. Yeah, I'll happily spend those if I have to. But yeah, Bitcoin is something I want to just gain as much of as possible for now. I guess it's more of I'm in my aggressive Bitcoin hoarding phase rather than spend phase.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, you can just do a bit of capital arbitrage there. So you could buy a whole bunch of crypto, ETH, Bitcoin, etc. And let's say you can stake it, like hell, through BlockFi, and let's say you can make, I don't know, 8% per year from that. Well, then you spend that 8% per year, then you use that for your groceries. That way your capital is never being spent, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
Yeah. Rob has said, okay, we're going to have to start ending the question soon. I'm actually banned from working today. Ellie, I freaking hate bank holidays. Bank holidays is like for, I guess, like employed people love bank holidays. Business owners hate them. I hate them. It's like days where my business is not getting the hours worked into it. Yeah, anyway. So she said, you must finish at 12:45. It's now 12:51. I'm going to have to... Screw it. I'm just going to be in trouble. So Rob has said, why haven't the government / top 1% / uber rich not banned cryptocurrencies yet?
I don't think they can. I think they're probably, a lot of governments have probably looked at where banning has been, because you remember governments mimic each other a lot of the time. So they'll have something happen in one country, and every other government will just monitor and see what happens. And if it works, they'll go, great, we're going to do that. And if it doesn't work, they're going to go, no, we're just not going to waste any money or time on that. And I think that's kind of what a lot of governments are looking at, what China's done with their state monetary system. They've gone, that has worked beautifully over the last 10 years. We want to do that now. And I think that's where things are going, with everything going online and going digital. I think that's where it's going. But in terms of, to answer your question, how can they just stand back and watch their fiat be challenged? I think they're just pivoting. So they're going to be creating their own, you know, digital dollar, digital pound, digital yen, which is already out in some places in China. So I guess for them, it's more of they're going to have to learn to live with it and either get on top of it, which I think a lot of them are doing, and then just tax them on that. And I think that's what 𝗪𝗪𝗔 are kind of happy to do. I think it's very clear that I can't see cryptos being banned. You just take UK as an example. You know, obviously, I think there's very little chance cryptocurrencies will be banned as long as people pay their taxes on it, and 𝗪𝗪𝗔 are happy to get their 20% cut off this growing market. I can't see a reason why they would ban it.
Yeah, and don't forget the elite, they're profiting massively off crypto. Like Bitcoin is a decentralized asset, yet it's not anymore. It's a centralized asset because look at the top wallets. It's the elites, it's the super uber rich that own all of the Bitcoin, all of the mining companies, all of now the big funds like Grayscale Investment. They have over $35 billion worth of crypto. It's ridiculous. Yeah. And don't forget, when we say the elite, it's not one group of elite. There are multiple tranches of elite. So you have the tech elite, like the Zuckerbergs and the Michael Saylors and all that sort of stuff. And then you have like the incumbent elite. So you have the Warren Buffetts who are not tech savvy at all. And so you have inner fighting between the elites. And what's happening is that the tech elites are gobbling all the old elites up in terms of, you know, billionaire wars, so to speak, like Elon and Bezos, etc. And so, yeah, I mean, put it this way, I think, was it Coinbase in its first year or two, they made $600 million profit. Whereas ICE, so Intercontinental Exchange, that own, you know, Chicago Stock Exchange, the NASDAQ, all that sort of stuff, they've been around for what, hundreds of years, and I think they're only making about $1 billion or $1.2 billion a year. And so they're like, holy shit, Coinbase popped up in 2 minutes and is almost the same profitability as us. So that's why the NASDAQ is going to be selling crypto by the end of the year. They're trying to pivot.
Yeah. Same with Binance. Binance come out of nowhere and now it does over $1 billion a year.
I know. It's the fastest growing company in human history. It went from a garage to $1 billion revenue in 6 months.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's just insane. And Rob said, how can they just stand back and watch their fiat be challenged? It's not, because CBDCs, central bank digital currencies, will be coming out like imminently. And in fact, keep watching the trading course, mate. There's videos that cover that question. Jamie said, maybe we'll be able to deposit your Bitcoin, say BlockFi, and you'll get a credit line or something. Yeah, quite possibly, or just interest. So Rob says, what if BlockFi closes down overnight and takes your crypto? Can this happen?
Well, yeah, potentially it could. So I guess that's just a risk you're going to have to weigh up. It's kind of just like if you leave your coins on an exchange and that exchange goes down overnight and never comes back, you kind of lost your coins. So again, it just comes to if you're investing risk capital, you should always invest with the notion that you're going to lose that capital at some point. If it's risk capital, that should be something you've kind of come to terms with, that it's risk capital, so you can lose that. BlockFi are insured. Again, I don't know for how much, but they do have some insurance on them. And again, yeah, if they do go down or get hacked or any of that, yeah, you could lose your coins because you don't get your keys from that exchange. It's kind of just like a centralized exchange where you deposit and then they just pay you, and then they loan your cryptos out on your behalf to people that want to borrow cryptos. That's kind of their business model. So again, yeah, when it comes down to trust, if you're more worried about that, you'd be better off maybe using a DeFi platform then, like 𝗵𝑒, where you still, you know, things never leave your wallet essentially, and you hold the keys to your wallet.
Yeah, not your keys, not your coins, etc.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're gonna have to round this up now. So Habib, let's part with your 3 biggest tips, learning points. What are the 3 most important things that you can leave people with? Hard question.
I'd say the first one is take action, because I know a lot of people, they do a lot of courses and read a lot of books, but they don't take action.
Yeah.
I call that shelf development rather than self-development. So yeah, first thing is just try stuff. You know, no one's gonna be 100% successful in everything they do, but you don't know what you're good at, or you don't know what you're not good at until you've tried it. Yeah, so that's the first thing I'd say. Second one is, I'd say the one thing which really changed for me was just learning new stuff and constantly reading. I guess is something which I didn't really do in my 20s. I really only started to do that in my 30s. For me, I went to university, finished, and I was like, that's it. I'm never going to study or read again. I'm just going to get a job and coast through life. But then I got bored with that very quickly. So,
yeah.
So I think you always have to grow and learn. So for me, I tend to read a couple of books a month. I've got 2 I'm reading at the moment. These 2, which is one you recommended to time.
Oh yeah,
The Great Reset.
Klaus Schwab, The Great Reset.
And then I've got the No Capitalist one as well. I'll be reading from Andrew Henderson.
Yeah.
About tax havens and that kind of stuff, which is something I'm interested in at the moment.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd say try stuff, read stuff, and don't be afraid to fail. I guess, and if you can, fail fast rather than fail slow. I'd say are the 3 things, and just get out there and do stuff. I'd say is the main thing.
Nice one. Awesome. Well, mate, thanks for your time. And everyone, thanks for being here. For those of you here, there's 40 on Facebook, and there were about 20 on Zoom. So yeah, thanks everyone. I guess I'll see you on Monday. Am I allowed to work on Monday? Screw it. Yes, I'll be here Monday, 12 o'clock. So, so yeah, see you soon, folks. Have a good one, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Cheers, man.